Welcome back to another episode of ATS Fight. Man, we here in LA for a massive fight weekend with Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov at the BMO Stadium. But before we get into all of that, man, I just want to thank the ATS Fight family, the All the Smoke family for welcoming me with open arms, all the supporters, all the followers, man. We came out with a bang with a Terence Crawford feature, and your boy got in the ring, man. It was the first one, so I figured, man, let me dust off my sparring equipment, man, and see if these hands still work, man, and they still work. It's a lot more riveting conversations and dope content coming your way. Special day for me today. I got two of my brothers sitting next to me today. I got Berto, Olympian, two-time world champion,
yes,
entrepreneur, content creator. I can go on and on. And just a bright mind in the sport. I got my other brother, Dirrell, here from Flint, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
A 2004 bronze medalist, and just really one of the greatest talents that I've ever been around. And that's been from the amateurs all the way up to the pros. Fellas, I appreciate y'all being here with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Lord.
I love it.
Man, we gonna get into this fight this weekend with Terence Crawford, who many I believe, is still the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Some people still have Canelo there. Most people, if they don't have Terence Crawford, they have Inoue up there. Do you believe Terence Crawford is still the best fighter in the world?
I believe right now, he is still the best fighter in the world. I mean, like I said, he had a tough road for sure. I mean, like, he's one of those guys that had to get it the hard way. You know what I mean? He went through a lot of doubt. He went through a lot of just the business in general, you know, just giving them, a lot of pushback on the star that we know that he is. You understand what I'm saying? So he really had to continue just showing up each and every fight and just block out all the noise. Just continue winning. And when that big fight came, that big fight everybody was waiting on finally came, he showed up. He showed up and it counted.
Where's Crawford on your pound-for-pound list?
Man, I told Crawford years ago, like, he was my favorite fighter, right? He has a sound mind. He focuses in tremendously when it's time to perform. And every time he was put to the test, he showed up, right? I think that's important when you talk about who's pound for pound. Performing and executing regardless of where you are, you know, or the opponent you face. Crawford does all of that and more, and he's in his 30s now, mid-30s, and he's still that guy, man. So, yeah.
Mid-30s.
I mean,
bang.
He's still #1 in your book?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the upbringing because, you know, he's a fighter who really, truly got it out the mud.
Yeah,
I didn't know of any fighters from Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, you know, we go to the Nationals as youngsters, and you may hear one, you know, they may have a small team of 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
You know, it was the other bigger cities, Philly, New York, Cincinnati, stuff like that, and even Florida and Michigan. But he did it his way. And I'm looking at where he's at right now. And even just to take it back a little bit, even looking at the Spence fight, that fight was talked about for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it was.
And you know how the internet is, and you know how the narratives tend to be. Oh, Terence Crawford is making a bad business decision. Oh, he'll never get this fight. And he found a way to get the fight, and not only get the fight, but perform the way that he did.
Yeah.
Leading into that fight, how did you think that fight was gonna go, and how surprised were you that it went the way that it did?
You know, I was just so happy to see the fact that, you know, just like you said, you know, he really, got out in the mud, and this fight came along, and of course, a lot of people don't know what happened on the back end of things. Of course, you know what I'm saying, you unlock that, but just the fact that he got it on his own terms, too, you know what I mean? And you know, I believe that was a special thing about it. But one thing with Terence is, I've known Terence for a long time. We've had plenty of conversations.
How long you known him?
I know Terence about 10 years now. But the fact of, me, myself, I always think that I'm, very competitive. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I come from a certain type of upbringing that we're always very competitive with each other. So when I see another dog that's around me, I can really identify it. You know what I'm saying? So Terence is the type of guy that it doesn't matter what the situation is. You know, he wants to be the best. He wants to prove to you that he's the best. And in anything, as you know, too, I've seen you guys play basketball, and it don't matter if it's basketball, don't matter if it's playing pool, whatever the case may be. And I just knew that.
That boy be cheating, too.
Oh, yeah, he definitely cheating.
That's another section.
He definitely cheating. I just knew if Terence was in a position to hurt Spence, he was going to finish him. Because I knew that he had that different type of dog getting him that I don't know if too many people really expected.
Spencer dog too, though.
Oh yeah, I'm saying Spencer dog too. Yeah, that's one thing about it. It's like I really just wanted to see how things were going to try to play out. You know what I mean? I knew if Spence hurt him, Spence was going to finish him. I know if Terence hurt him, Terence was going to finish him. So either way it went, you know, I was just up for it. So
were you shocked?
I was very.
At the outcome?
I was shocked. I think everybody was shocked. I was at the fight. I think it was kind of interesting for some of everybody to watch because we seen Spence be so dominant with everybody he was in the ring with. And I think it was just so prevalent, even at the beginning of the fight, within the first round, second round, just nothing that he had. We can see it from the outside of the ring. Nothing that he had could really phase, you know, Bud at the time. You know what I mean? It just feels like, it just looked like, you know, Bud was just on a completely different level. I don't know, I don't know if he just had a bad night, whatever the case may be, but it just looked like the levels of the situation was just different.
What about you, bro? How did you feel going in? Your honest opinion, who did you think was gonna win, dominate?
Your honest opinion.
Or even if you were indecisive. Yeah. And then when it happened, how surprised were you?
Man, I was highly vocal about that fight before it happened. I knew once it came to them two fighting, Bud would do what he did. I didn't think he would be as dominant as he was, and I spoke on this after the fight happened. You know, it's widely viewed as well. When I say Bud has a sound mind, this is what I mean. And he's a dog on top of that, right? But he's a dog when he has to be. He's a dog who doesn't make too much noise, right? Only when it's time to make noise, Terence is gonna get in there and perform, right? He holds in, for whatever reason, all of that, you know, frustration, you know, competitiveness. He's gonna show his hand only when it's time to, and that's in the ring. And Spence was the perfect opponent for him to come out and really shine.
Why?
Right, he was the perfect opponent based off how the fight went, right? But I knew, again, it was gonna happen because Spence, even though he's dominant, he's straightforward. And Crawford, man, he's a magician at stepping back, throwing wide shots. Yeah. Now, wide shots aren't highly viewed as a good punch to throw. The shorter, more precise, the better. Crawford has a way of throwing them wide and dropping them over on the side of the head, chin, body, up the middle. He shoot a hook, uppercut. And Spence was a locomotive coming straight ahead, wasn't prepared for the shots, the rocks that was thrown to the left, rocks that was thrown to the right, and the breaks that was the uppercut for Crawford. And he ultimately shut him down, man.
We never want to take anything away from Spence. He's been dominant. Yeah. Truly dominant the last few years. Dominant. And you know, just us being fighters, you know, we don't know what's going on in other fighters, you know, head mentally. You don't know what he had to go through, whatever the case may be in camp. You know, I'm hearing a lot of these, this and that, but like I say, but when it came to fight time, I think Bud was just so dialed in. I think he was just so dialed in. I think all the frustration through the years of just saying that he wasn't this and saying this, saying that, just a whole bunch of pushback, saying he can't sell out anything, saying he can't, all of everything. He knew how big that moment was to answer all questions. And he showed up. And not too many people can show up on the stage like that.
Yeah, you know, I have a lot of respect for both guys. Both of these guys are my brothers.
Yeah.
So I'm in a tough spot when I got to speak about the fight, when I had to speak about it leading up to it. And, you know, Errol reached out to me years ago and he said, Dre, I'm not ducking Terence.
Yeah.
I'm just getting these belts. I'm stacking the belts and I'm gonna put myself in the strongest position. So he's thinking business, right? You know, Al got him, you know, hey, let's think business, put ourselves in the best position. But then Errol has never been afraid of nothing. If you know Errol's story from being an amateur, he always been a dog. So that's not in question.
Yeah.
The only thing that I saw separating them was I knew Spence, and Spence even said it his life, man. He said, I wasn't living necessarily like a fighter.
Yeah.
He had the car accident. And remarkable comeback to be able to keep fighting top fighters and even get in position to fight. Terence Crawford. He really shouldn't be alive.
Facts.
So just that alone is a win.
Yeah.
But that has to have some effect on you. The only difference and separator I saw from them was I would say it's gonna turn into a lifestyle fight, meaning whoever's been who's been living the cleanest lifestyle, that's what's gonna be on display fight night.
Yeah.
So that was my whole thing with it. Last thing I'm gonna say, and then we're gonna pivot to Saturday night, was I didn't hear the respect from Derrick James. I got a lot of love and respect for Derrick James. I think he's a really great coach.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Verge in terms of his approach. But when I would listen to him speak about Terence, it was almost like a foregone conclusion. Like we gonna steamroll this dude. And I'm thinking like, brother, do you know who y'all getting ready to fight?
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to be confident, it's another thing to be arrogant.
Facts.
And everything that Bud carried into the ring with the commentary, the headlines, that stuff, for a true competitor, you bring that in the ring with you.
Bring every bit of it.
But that being said, brother, we know this is fighters in the family.
Facts.
A loss don't take away
Definitely
who
not.
you are.
Definitely
it doesn't take away how we feel about you. So
Definitely
it's a lot
not.
of love for Errol Spence.
A lot of
and
love.
it's gonna continue to be that, man, because he's still the truth.
He definitely still the truth.
But that win that Crawford got against Spence last July, everybody's asking what's next? What's next? Retirement could be a conversation. Do I want to go out on top? I'm 36 years old now. Canelo's name was floated, right? But then we see Terence Crawford settle on going to another weight class, 154 pounds, against Israil Madrimov. Madrimov is nothing to play with.
Nothing to play with.
How do you see Terence Crawford coming off the high of the win of Errol Spence coming into this fight Saturday night against Madrimov?
I think it's gonna be a lot of pressure for him, to be honest. To be able to have such a dominating performance like he had, a lot of people, they're gonna have a lot of high expectations on this next
even
performance.
unrealistic. I'm reading some stuff online and I'm
unrealistic.
They not happy with the amount of tickets that sold. They not happy with the opponent. They not happy with nothing. Like they want him to fight. I don't know who they want him to fight.
Fight King Kong and he better look good doing it. You know what I mean? Just because of what just happened. But like I say, you know what I mean, Israil Madrimov. I got a chance to check him out. I didn't know too much about him before. That kid ain't nothing to play with. You know what I mean? I don't think that people understand the magnitude of this jump up that he's doing. You know what I mean? Like he's fighting a proper, 154.
154. He been there for a long time, even in the amateurs.
Really?
Yeah, he been in the amateurs.
He's fighting a proper 154. I mean, the kid looked solid. He looked heavy. You know what I mean? When you see somebody just look like the bones, they're like their bone structure just heavy. You know what I mean? And he has great skill too. He has that European style. And just in some of the interviews like we spoke about the other day, like, I mean, he's not fazed by any of that. Yeah, he wants to come and handle business. You know what I mean? When you got a guy like that, man, that not too many people really know so much of, but is deadly, it makes the situation a little shaky. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was telling you on the phone the other day, like, I mean, this is a fight that he could easily spoil the party.
It's a trap fight.
He can easily spoil the party. Okay, y'all don't know nothing about me? Okay, I'm gonna show y'all real quick what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, then he can surprise everybody. But that's what type of fight this is. This is a big fight. It's a dangerous fight.
Madrimov is gonna be dangerous from 1 to 12. What I like in Terence's favor is Madrimov isn't as active as Terence. His punch output isn't there. I'm looking at, for the most part, 3-4 punch combinations for the norm for Madrimov. Then they're wide, and then he'll shoot from a distance a lot of times, opening up. Terence sees that. He will see that, right? Now, will he get caught by it? And once he does, how will he handle it? That's my only question. I guarantee you, if he stands up to it for the first 6, even though he has to be careful for the next potential 6, Terence is still gonna dominate him.
And that's another thing with Terence. I mean, Terence is a guy that we've seen in the past. Of course, he's amazing. You know what I mean? That's all I got. We've seen him.
He don't mind getting to it.
We're gonna get to it.
I'm saying Terence don't mind getting hit to get his.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he's had fights in the past, but we've seen him get hurt. But as soon as you hurt him, that dog turn on.
Because it means nothing to him.
I hear a lot of people, bringing up The Mean Machine fight in New York, where he got buzzed. Me and Terence argue about that. I'm like, bro, he got you. Like, nah, I slipped. I'm like, nah, brother, he got you. I'm commentating, I seen the leg.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a competitor.
Or they bring up a Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Yeah.
They forget. Casuals and just fans, they don't always do the research. They looking at Gamboa where he ended his career, not where he was when Terence Crawford fought him. When Terence Crawford fought him, undefeated, explosive Cuban fighter, gold medalist,
That's
and
a fact.
some were comparing him to Floyd Mayweather at that time because if Gamboa could do nothing else, he was explosive, exciting, and he could punch.
I thought he was gonna lose.
So what you said is the key. What did he do after he got hurt?
Dog.
But the trouble with these kind of fights for a guy like Terence Crawford is you got all the pressure on you.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's almost like the public, they want to pay you back for the deed you did in your last fight. And he not only has to carry this promotion, he not only has to perform, he's got to promote it, he's got to stay healthy in camp. I'm seeing him moving and doing more than I've ever seen him do to promote a fight. Because that's the level that he's at now. He's not just fighting fights, he's fighting events.
Right.
But that's what comes with it. Heavy is the head.
And that's the thing that
if you want to be the best fighter in the world and be marketable and make that kind of money, you got to be able to carry that. And if anybody can, I think Terence can. My thing about this fight for Terence Crawford is just being patient because Madrimov has nothing to lose.
It's a fact.
Nobody really expects him to do anything. I mean, true boxing heads, they know he's dangerous. But the average person, they don't think much of him. He's got to be patient and let the fight unfold. And I think eventually you'll start to see a Terence Crawford-esque performance start to unfold. And I think the power is going to be a big thing in this fight too. But Madrimov is not to be played with. He's a good boxer. He's very sturdy, like you said. And the boy can punch.
He knows that. And that's one thing about it, man. Crawford knows that, right? He's going to tap in the most pivotal things. Like, that's a situation where mindset comes to play, right? Terence, man, he is tapped in every single second of the day in training camp. I'm not worried about that. I know he knows what to do. He's not only fighting Madrimov, he's fighting the fans, opponents' questions, whole nine, man. He got a lot, but he's built for this. Like, he really is built for this, right? And that's what makes him so incredible because I can look at his style and I would compare it to mine, and it's a few reasons why I can look at it and be like, you know, it's straight, but the mindset paired with his talent is what makes him so great. Well,
for all the skill talk and carrying the pressure and all of that, we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
What that?
Age.
Oh, man.
Terence Crawford is 36 years old. I believe in 2 months he'll be 37 years old. But 36, 37 is not created equal. Depends on how you live your life.
That's a fact.
Depends on, you know, Terence Crawford has never smoked, never drank. That means something in this game. I don't see no slippage. I see a fighter when I'm in camp and when I hear about camp that his team is still trying to pull him back. So I don't believe that age will be a factor. Do you think age will be a factor in this fight?
I mean, it could. Like I said, I mean, you know, when it comes to age, the funny thing about age, you know, it can just sneak up on you. You know, it can just sneak up on you. You know what I mean? He's looking great in camp. He's doing everything that he's been doing because he's been programmed to do this for so long. He doesn't know any type of way. Just to move forward and just continue to grind. You understand what I'm saying? But when you get in that thing, fight night, them lights going, you got this other kid, small gloves, no headgear. That thing can sneak up on you without you even knowing. And you can sit there, oh man, I just had a bad night. Now the age can creep up on you. You just don't know when it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So I just think he just needs to continue doing what he does, stay sharp, because like I said, this kid is coming to fight, and he's going to try to prove himself. I mean, he's fighting a guy that shook the world last year. You know what I'm saying? That shook the world up last year. And he knows that he doesn't have anything to lose. He knows that he has great skill, he has great confidence because of everything that he's been doing. This is his time right now. This is his time.
Is age gonna play a factor Saturday night?
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Nope. Absolutely not, man. I think, now, depending on the wars you've been in fights, that'll tell that story for me, right? It's camp where we lose it at. People don't understand that. They think it's the fights is where we start to lose it, but it's really camps. And I'm sure Terence being in those mountains, man, running those hills,
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be taxing on his body.
Yeah.
Right? But he's showing no signs. Again, his mindset, how he sees it, how he looks at it, see, that's up to him to decide. Right? Like, unless he's listening to the crowd, which I know, and you know he's not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He tapped in, he's ready to reach levels. Put it like this, he's saying if he says he's ready to retire, he's considering it just because he wants to retire, possibly be with his family for the rest of the time.
Yeah, final picks for Saturday. How that fight going in? Main event.
Main event.
What's the headline gonna be Sunday morning? Terence Crawford.
What I want the headlines to be
is Israil Madrimov.
What I want the headlines to say? I wanted to say Terence Crawford continues with a tremendous, amazing performance, stopping, you know what I mean, Israil Madrimov in his 154 debut. That'll be tremendous. You know what I mean? That'll be tremendous. That's what I want the headlines to say. But like I said, you got a guy that doesn't care about that. You got a guy that doesn't care about that.
Well, his job is not to care about it.
Yeah. I mean, but like I said, the fight game. I mean, you see a lot of guys, they really step in the ring and, they get shaken up by somebody's name or reputation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The moment becomes.
Of course. Yeah. So we're going to see. We're going to see how. I mean, the talk is fine, but one thing about the fight game is you're going to find out the truth real quick when you walk in that thing. So he's going to find out what it is. We're going to see if he's going to perform, if he's going to be able to block out everything else and go ahead and do his thing. If he can't, it's going to be a dominant performance by Terence.
Sunday morning headlines.
Terence rises to the occasion yet again. That's simple.
There you go.
Whether by knockout or just being victorious, he'll win the fight. Only way I need to see it.
Beastie.
I think it's going to be a tough fight while it lasts. But I'm not betting against Terence Crawford right now.
Oh, for sure.
You got to show me.
For sure.
You got to show me. I think it's going to be a tough fight, as it should. You're going up in weight against a champion. It's not supposed to be a cakewalk. And but I think he's got the IQ, the drive, the mental toughness, and I know the preparation has been put in.
Facts.
I believe he's going to find a way to get that stoppage and keep that knockout streak going.
Boy, say
I like you said that, man. I don't get that from you a lot. I like that part.
I play the middle ground.
I'm going to say you know how to play the middle ground. You know what I'm saying? I love that boldness right there, champ.
So for all the main event talk, these days, you do not get a stacked undercard like we got at the BMO Stadium. Back in the day when Don King used to put shows on, man, you had 4 or 5 championship fights, and then you still had the main event to look to. This is kind of like that. This undercard is kind of like that. We got Isaac Cruz versus Jose Valenzuela. We got Andy Ruiz and Jarrell Miller.
Yes, sir.
We got David Morale, the Cuban, who don't nobody really seem to want to fight. And then we got Jared Anderson and Martin Bakole. What's your the undercard fight you most excited about?
You just said it, man. Jared Anderson, Martin Bakole, man.
Why?
Right. Jared Anderson, man. Listen, exactly.
Big baby.
Big baby. 24 years old, dynamic jab, strong. He could be dominant at times. And this is his breakout opportunity.
It's a test
right?
for sure.
However, I feel like Martin could possibly be too much for him, right? Now, that's yet to be seen, but I know this fight for him is going to be like the ultimate test, right? So he's going to have to be able to weather the storm against Martin Bakole. That's it. If he can do that, he can win. If he can't, which I don't think he can, I'm gonna have to keep it a buck.
He talking spicy.
I think Martin Bakole is gonna win this fight, man.
Wow.
On my back.
60-40.
Fight you most excited about?
I mean, he said the same thing. Same fight.
Same one for me too.
Same fight.
This the fight. It's gonna be a banger too.
Yeah. I mean, that fight there, man. It's exciting, like you said, but it's scary. It's a scary fight because Martin McCauley, I've been watching him, and he's a huge heavyweight. He's a big heavyweight. Yeah. About a good 290, you know what I mean?
And he don't care.
And he doesn't care.
Straight ahead.
He coming straight to you. He has pretty decent skill, good power. I've seen him go to Paris and beat, you know what I mean, Tony Yoka. I've seen him go to other people's countries and beat them, not just beat them, he's stopping them. You know what I mean? He's going to these places and he's stopping these guys. And he has a mindset of, I don't care nothing about no big baby. I think the way he said was, he said, I don't care about big baby, I'm gonna be his big daddy. Something like that.
Talking crazy.
He might be having too much fun with it though.
Yeah, but like I said, when you got you a journeyman like that, man, that's literally, you know, flying and traveling all over the world to get his respect and, you know, coming in these guys' hometowns and dominating, you gotta try to, you know, you're gonna have to, your antennas gotta be up a little bit. Like I say, you know what I mean, Jared Anderson, sharp, he been steamrolling everybody, he's young, you know, but this right here gonna be the test. This is gonna be the test for him.
That's my favorite or most exciting undercard fight that I'm looking forward to too, Anderson McCauley.
Yeah.
I love these moments for young fighters.
Yes.
Because we all had them.
Yeah.
Right? We got a certain level of competition. You look promising, you passing the eye test, you shining, but then you get that call. Hey man, we got to step it up. We're trying to get the ranking, we're trying to get in position. And this is that first big fight for Jared Anderson. But it's against a guy who really doesn't care about getting hit. His offense, right, which is high volume, throwing big, heavy shots, is his defense. And his mentality is he don't care. Like you said, he going on the road. I'll come to your backyard. Where you want to fight at, we can fight. Just make sure you pay me and we good.
And I'm coming to whoop you.
This could be a graduation and an elevation to confirm that Jared Anderson is next in line, or a demotion.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it because as a boxing fan, I want to see Jared figure this out.
Yeah.
I want to see Jared figure this out. I want to see him get through the stormy parts of the fight. I want to see him figure it out. So, man, this undercard is truly, truly stacked. The main event is going to be what it does. That's going to be a tremendous fight. This is not a fight y'all want to miss. Tune into this thing, man. The BMO Stadium, Saturday night is going down.